December 18th, 1944. 064. 7 hours. 6 kilometers west of Stavlet, Belgium. SS-Obersturmführer Jochen Peiper. Gloved hand grips the hatch rim of his Panther tank as diesel smoke curls into the frozen morning air. His Kampfgruppe battle group has been driving west for 3 days straight, punching through American lines in what the Führer promised would be Germany's masterstroke, the Ardennes offensive. Germany's last gamble, but right now, Peiper isn't thinking about grand strategy. He's thinking about fuel. The gauge inside his command Panther reads one. The half-track behind him radioed 20 minutes ago reporting near empty. 2 of his Tiger. E-70-ton monsters with armor thick enough to shrug off anything the Americans can throw at them are already sitting silent 3 kilometers back, magnificent and useless. Their tanks, bone dry. Peiper's orders are simple. Reach the Meuse River, seize the bridges, don't stop for anything. But you can't drive to the Meuse on ambition alone. Through the morning mist, his lead scout waves frantically. Something ahead on the forest road. Peiper raises his binoculars and adjusts the focus, expecting another American roadblock, another delay they can't afford. What he sees instead makes him lower the binoculars slowly. An American Jeep. Intact. Abandoned on the shoulder of the road. Driver's door hanging open like someone left in a hurry. No signs of combat damage. No but just sitting there in the gray dawn like someone parked it and walked away to get coffee. Peiper doesn't believe in gifts from God, but he believes in American carelessness. He drops into the turret and orders his driver forward. His crew knows the drill capture enemy vehicles when possible, especially ones that still run. The Wehrmacht has been cannibalizing American trucks and jeeps since Normandy. Reliable, simple, and right now, possibly still holding fuel. The Panther's engine growls as it crawls forward, treads crunching frozen mud. Peiper's gunner traverses the turret left, covering the tree line, this close to American positions. Abandoned vehicles can mean ambush, but the forest stays silent, except for distant artillery rumbling somewhere to the north. Peiper's tank stops, 10 meters from the Jeep. He climbs out, MP-40 submachine gun slung across his chest, boots hitting the road with a metallic crunch. 2 of his grenadiers appear from the half-track behind him, weapons ready, moving in that efficient combat crouch that comes from 3 years of fighting. They approach the Jeep like it might explode. It doesn't. Up close, Peiper can see it's one of the new models. Fresh olive drab paint, canvas top still attached. The keys are in the ignition. The keys are in the ignition. Peiper almost laughs. The Americans ran so fast, they didn't even stop to disable their vehicle. He's seen this before you. S-troops melting away in the face of German armor, leaving equipment scattered like breadcrumbs. It's why his Kampfgruppe has been able to drive so deep so fast. The Americans simply weren't ready. One of his grenadiers climbs into the driver's seat and turns the key. The engine coughs once, then it purrs. Smooth. Steady. Not the temperamental roar of German vehicles that need coaxing in the cold, but a reliable mechanical heartbeat that says this machine was built to start in any weather, any condition, any time. Peiper walks around to the back. That's when he sees them. For jerry cans, strapped to the rear mounting bracket. His hand moves almost automatically, unlatching one and lifting it. Weight confirms it before he even unscrews the cap. Full. He opens it anyway and the sharp smell of gasoline hits him immediately. American gasoline, the same fuel that runs their trucks, their tanks, their generators, everything. He looks at the other 3 cans. All full. 20 gallons of fuel, just sitting here. Standard issue. Peiper sets the can down carefully and stares at the Jeep like he's seeing it for the first time, not as a prize of war, not as a useful piece of captured equipment, but as something else entirely. Peiper's radio man approaches with a portable fuel canister, ready to siphon the Jeep's tank and the jerry cans into something useful for German vehicles. Standard procedure, but Peiper waves him off. Leave it, he says in German. I want to look at this first. The radio man hesitates, confused, but obeys. You don't question an SS officer, especially not Jochen Peiper. Not when his reputation precedes him. Youngest regimental commander in the Waffen-SS, veteran of the Eastern Front, holder of the Knight's Cross. A man who gets results. But right now, Peiper isn't thinking about his reputation. He's thinking about why his tanks keep stopping. He circles the Jeep slowly, studying it the way a mechanic studies an engine. Not a soldier studies captured equipment. The vehicle is simple. Brutally simple. Sheet metal body, exposed engine, minimal amenities. It looks mass-produced in a way German vehicles never do. No elegance, no over-engineering, just function. Peiper crouches beside the front wheel and examines the tire. Standard size. He glances back at the rear wheels. Same. Interchangeable. He thinks about his Panther tanks. They use different road wheels than Tiger eyes. Different suspension systems. Different everything. If a Panther throws a track, you need Panther parts. If a Tiger breaks down, you need Tiger parts. This Jeep, you could probably rob parts from any other Jeep in the American Army. He stands and moves to the engine compartment, popping the hood. The engine sits there like a textbook diagram, everything visible, accessible, labeled. A mechanic could work on this in the dark. With basic tools. Freezing weather. Peiper thinks about his Panthers. Maybach, HL 230 engines, magnificent pieces of German engineering. 12 cylinders. 700 horsepower, also temperamental, prone to overheating, requiring specialized tools and trained mechanics to service. His maintenance crews work. Miracles, but miracles take time. Time his Kampfgruppe doesn't have. He reaches into the Jeep's interior and finds a canvas pouch tucked under the passenger seat. Opens it. Spare parts. Basic tools. Everything you'd need for field repairs. All standardized, all clearly organized. There's even a small manual with illustrated diagrams showing common repairs. The Americans expect their vehicles to break down. More importantly, they've made it so that any soldier can fix them when they do. Peiper closes the pouch, slowly. Through the trees, he can hear his column idling. Dozens of vehicles. Panthers. Tiger eyes, Panzer, IV's half-tracks Kuba wagons. Each one burning fuel at a different rate. Each one requiring different fuel grades. His tanks need diesel. Some of the captured vehicles run on gasoline. The half-tracks need another blend entirely, and they're all competing for fuel from the same overstretched supply lines stretching back to Germany. Supply lines that were supposed to be supported by captured American fuel depots. Fuel depots they haven't found, because the Americans retreated faster than expected, destroying or evacuating everything as they went. Peiper looks back at the 4 jerry cans on the Jeep. 20 gallons. Standard issue. He thinks about the American columns his scouts reported yesterday, hundreds of vehicles retreating west toward the Meuse. Every single one probably carrying extra fuel, as standard practice. The Americans don't wait for supply trucks. They carry their logistics with them. He unscrews one of the jerry cans again and pours a small amount into his palm, rubbing it between his gloved fingers. The fuel is good, high octane, refined. The kind of gasoline that comes from a country with unlimited oil and unlimited refining capacity. Germany is fighting this war on synthetic fuel squeezed from coal. Expensive. Time-consuming. Limited production capacity. His Tigers and Panthers are marvels of engineering, but they drink fuel like drowning men drink water. 25 gallons per 100 kilometers for a Panther. Even worse for the Tiger eye is. And here's an American Jeep carrying enough spare fuel to drive 500 kilometers as standard equipment. One of Peiper's officers approaches Hauptsturmführer. Werner Sternbeck, his second in command. Sir, we need to move. The Americans will be regrouping. Peiper doesn't respond immediately. He's staring at the Jeep, but he's seeing something larger. Something that's been gnawing at the back of his mind since Normandy, since the Eastern Front. Since Kursk. Werner, he says quietly, how many different types of vehicles are in our Kampfgruppe? Sternbeck blinks, caught off guard by the question. Sir, our column? How many different models? Different engines? Different parts? Sternbeck thinks for a moment. 15? Perhaps 20? Panthers, Tigers, Panzer, IVs. 3 different half-track variants. Kuba wagons. Some captured American trucks. And the Americans. Sir.
Peiper gestures at the Jeep. How many different vehicles do the Americans use? Really use?
Sternbeck looks at the Jeep, then back at Peiper. Understanding starts to dawn in his eyes. Jeeps. Sherman tanks. Tucson the half trucks. The heavy trucks. Maybe 6 variants total, all running on the same fuel, Peiper says, all using standardized parts, all simple enough that a farm boy from Kansas can fix them with a wrench and a manual. The two men stand in silence for a moment, the implications settling over them like the morning cold. Sternbeck clears his throat. We should take it with us. The few are Alice. Yes, Peiper says, but he doesn't move. He's still staring at the Jeep. Because he's just understood something that terrifies him more than American artillery, more than their air superiority, more than the winter cold seeping through his uniform. Germany is losing this war in workshops and factories and supply depots, 1,000 kilometers from the front line.